And welcome to the Part-Time Nerd Podcast with me, your host, Alan. And joining me, as always, is one Mr. Rapid Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Yeah,
Pretty
doing
good?
great today. It's podcast day.
It is podcast day on several fronts. Um, so we just got done watching the new episode of What If? What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? Is the topic we're dealing with this week. Heavy Nick Fury episode, a lot of Samuel Jackson, which I'm a huge fan of. You can't go wrong with little Samuel Jackson, except for the only issue you get with him in the MCU is he doesn't drop any F bombs. And that's just it's classic Samuel Jackson, right? You gotta get him to drop one or two, but you can't. It's family friendly. I get it, but eh. um. So this episode we dealt with what happened if the Avengers really never came to be. You never had the Avengers, and it takes you through that and why that happened. What are some of your thoughts on the episode?
I thought it was fine. They just start plowing characters as soon as it gets started. You think they're about and the show itself takes you back to Iron Man 1. It takes you back to Thor. I don't even remember what the first Thor was, but the first Thor,
Thor.
you have the Hulk played by Edward Norton. They take you back to that movie. And what are you just sitting there looking at?
No, it
What?
was Mark Ruffalo did the Hulk.
Yeah, no, he does it now. He voices it
Okay.
now, but the movie
Okay.
that they flash
Okay.
back to and talk about was done by Edward Norton. But yeah, all in all, I thought it was cool. They brought every lot. I mean, they had a lot of people in this episode, and boy, oh boy, they were dropping like flies. They eliminated one of the people that I wanted to be gone, and I thought they were going to eliminate the other one, but for somehow they keep Black Widow around for no reason at all. Like, I don't understand. She's in a truck with 10 armed guards, and then she just somehow fights her way out. What's the other 8 guys doing while she's fighting with the 2 dudes? You know what I'm saying? There's always a lot of I don't like that. But anyways, I don't like her. But I don't know why. But I also this is an unpopular opinion. I don't like Nick Fury. I just don't. Like, I don't understand what he brings to the table. Was he management material, I guess? I love Samuel L. Jackson. That's been on record for over a decade now. But
That's it? Just a decade?
well, how long has he been around? Since I met him, it was what, Pulp Fiction? So back to 1989 or 91 or something like that. I don't know. That's probably the first time.
Near 2021 for
Yeah,
the record.
there you go. 3 decades. But all in all, it was like I have a ton of notes, but just little one-liners and whatnot. And I thought it was a really good episode. They spin it around, and then Loki shows up. But I really do enjoy the scene where Loki shows up because they killed Thor, and he was there for vengeance, buddy. They had, was it the Tesseract or something, or that cube?
Yeah.
And he was ready to lay waste.
He's just so the episode starts off with Stark and Natasha. They're going to go meet Iron Man to try and recruit him. They're working on saving him, and next thing you know, he's dead. Black Widow suspected of killing him. Cut away. Yeah, you talked about how they had her hostage, or not hostage, prisoner, and Nick Fury is, he's like, hey, I need you to find out what's going on here. Let's get this figured out. Here's your evidence you're going to need. Go ahead and escape, and she does. But that's what she does. She's a highly trained assassin, more so than any of those guys that were guarding her. Right? They were overclassed. Part of her thing is, and I think they said it right. You had Frank Grillo's character, Crossbones, and he's in there in the front of it, and he's talking about, well, yeah, because no one ever sees it coming, because you just don't suspect that from her, and she just lays waste to everybody in her way, right? As long as you're not superpowered. Right now, if you're superpowered, then you might have some problems. The Hulk shows up, and what she do? She takes off. Like, I can't mess with the Hulk. I'm out. Deuces. Then next thing you know, you got the scene where Thor shows up in the movie Thor, by the way. The movie you forgot the name of was Thor.
I don't keep up with all these stupid movies. This is something I watched like 15 years ago. I don't care. There's 45 Thors now, 15 Captain Americas, 87 Hulks. Too many effing movies. That's the problem with this thing.
No, there's 2 Hulks, 3 Thors.
2 Hulks.
There's only 2 Hulk movies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I liked Edward Norton as Hulk, but I like Mike.
I did too, but I like
Whatever.
Mark
Mark
Ruffalo too. Yeah,
Ruffalo.
I'm happy with Ruffalo. Next thing you know, you've got the scene where Thor's getting ready to grab the hammer, and you got Hawkeye up there watching him, saying, "Just give me the word." And then all of a sudden, he shoots his arrow. He is like, "I didn't do it."
He's like,
But
I didn't do it. You're the one that released it. You shot him. You killed him. You killed Thor, you son of a bitch. And they kept making jokes about his hair. Like, oh man, it's luxurious, like beautiful hair. And it looked great flashing in the wind. Yeah.
very much so. And
He's a
like even
handsome man.
when he's sitting there, dead, he's like, even dead as he's sitting here rotting, he smells like lavender.
God. It was crazy. I did make a note. We have a CrossFit joke. Everyone get in here. It was
Right.
At a
I mean, hey, even Larry can't lift a hammer and he does CrossFit,
Jesus.
But next thing you know, and then all of a sudden Hawkeye dies, and you're like, what the heck? Black Widow's going to go talk to the Betty Ross, and you're like, she just seems sus like the whole time. But that's because the Hulk's there, and then they're trying to escape, and then Hulk gets shot, and next thing you know, like, dude, when he blew up, like legit blew up, I was just like, what the? Like that was a moment where I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah, I was
That
like,
was
holy.
pretty.
I was like, is this gonna happen? Holy shit, he blew up. I was like, he did. He blew up. I was like, oh man. And
Blew up.
that was seriously one of those parts. I knew you were gonna be like the same way, and
Yeah.
I couldn't freaking believe it.
Yeah. And then you've got before that, I thought what was a really cool scene was when you had Coulson driving. He was making the coffee run, and in the background, the Watcher was there. Did you notice? Yeah, that
Every
was. I
time they
thought that
have
was
that cut, they had it multiple times in this episode where it's going to something else, and you have his outline in the background. I like that. I really do like that.
it's really cool because it just shows you that's what he does. He's just sitting there watching.
With that weird
Uh,
in the corner.
and they're looking through the files, and that's kind of when you get your first hint of who's killing everybody. Because as Black Widow's going through all these files, you see one there for Janet Van Dyne. Actually, I had to kind of pause it just to make sure I caught all of the names that were on there, and that was just the kind of the one name that stuck out to me. Um, and then Black Widow turns around and she's got it all figured out, only to then get killed. And you're as I'm watching her, and you're watching her get thrown all over the place. I was like, is it Ant-Man? Because that's the only conclusion I'm coming to because she's getting beat up all over the place and thrown everywhere, but you don't see anybody.
I thought
And
it was a ghost.
you thought it was a ghost.
I was like, this ghost is going to town. Finally. Some
It's
justice.
not a ghost. And last time I checked, there was no Invisible Man in the MCU.
Damn it.
So
That was my second guess.
but you find out that is who it was. Um, but except for he wasn't Ant-Man, he was under the mantle of the Yellow Jacket. He had kind of lost his mind, and you find out because the one thing you didn't get in this episode was that moment where they say it was at this moment, this decision right here changed everything. You didn't have that moment in this where you had that moment where you could compare it to the movies where everything's going along the way the movie did, except for right here, there's a change, and here's where it branches off into a multiverse.
Which
This
was a
one,
good change. They waited till the end to kind of reveal it. I thought it was a nice change of pace.
yeah, and the reveal was Hope actually got recruited by Shield, and she died in service of Shield, and it just sent her dad off the deep end. And then you had the cool scene of Nick Fury goes, I know who it is, goes and tells Loki, and you got the cool scene where Loki's um comes and appears as Nick Fury, and he's just sitting there, just essentially just bitch slapping Yellow Jacket every time he comes at him.
I did make a note. I was like, so this guy kills all these superstars, but can't handle an old guy, can't outbox an old guy. And then I was like, as I'm writing it, I go, oh, surprise, it's Loki.
But the minute he punched him that first time, I go, okay, all right, I know what's going on here. And then as he just keeps doing it and he flips over him and he's doing all this and he's disappearing and he's like, man, you're pretty spry for someone who works in an office. Like, yeah. So it's really the god of mischief that you're fighting. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got the big change there now without the Avengers there. It's super easy for Loki to take over Earth where he's sitting there talking to Fury and he's like, hey, don't forget to take your hammer with you. He's like, actually, I think I'm going to stay for a while. And he's like, well, how long? And then you see him walking into the UN. He said, after one day of negotiations, everyone has decided to unify and come under me, your supreme ruler. And you're like, oh, snap.
He
But
figured it out, though. He got the whole world to unite.
yeah,
I don't know how. Everybody talks about it now, current day in this world, and it's like, how do we do it? I'm like, I don't know. But then Loki figured it out.
You just need an Asgardian god to come down and
Tell you how it is.
Right, exactly. But and with the way Fury is, he's like, this isn't going to end like this. And then you cut away because the one person I was looking for the whole time as they're doing this was I was waiting for Captain America. Like you're talking about, we never had Earth's mightiest heroes, so I guess because of the events that happened with Tony Stark and all that, you never get to the point to where he goes and finds Captain America. So he does that at the end, and then I was also curious as to, is it going to be Captain America or is this going to be Captain Britain? Is it going to be Peggy Carter? Are we dealing kind of in the same multiverse, or is this a different branch of it? And you find out it is Captain America, and then
So it's
Captain Marvel
Captain
shows
Marvel.
up.
Oh,
Well,
okay. Yeah,
Captain Marvel showed up, but
yeah.
because he's there, because in Captain America he's under ice, brushes away the snow on there, and you see his shield. So
Roger.
they're getting Captain America, and then they've got Captain Marvel, and then they'll fight off Loki. So.
Whatever.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, another good episode. I enjoyed it. It had that. I think that was the first episode that really had that kind of like what the moment for me when the Hulk exploded, because it was just so it was cool as hell, right? Just you see him and you're like watching him just kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger until he just.
And they make like 5 claims. He can't die. I can't die. Well, if you say that in a movie or any type of show, you're probably going to die. So I assume he's coming after they made it. They said it like 4 times.
Well, I mean, when he's in the Hulk form, he's indestructible. He got to him before he was Hulk and implanted that little the PIM particles inside of him that just kind of gradually made him bigger and bigger until.
Yeah, they like attached that thing to his heart or something like that, and it started growing like crazy.
Yep.
This episode a little bit longer, I think, than others. Now I have it marked down as 28 minutes. It's over. You got 5 minutes of credits, so don't be disturbed by a 30, or don't even get your hopes up thinking you're going to get a 33-minute, 34-minute episode. It's seriously 28 minutes. It's probably less than that because I didn't even take off the for the beginning.
Yep. But yeah, good episode. You got anything else left on this episode?
Every week I tune in. Like this morning, I knew immediately that I had to watch this, and I was like, here we go. And I turned the TV on with no grimace, no oh God or anything like that. It's a show that keeps us coming back every week. I like it. I do. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, there's been some shows we watched in the past where I'm like, hey, have you watched such and such yet? And you're just like, I'll do it. Just give me a minute. Hold on. Just get off my back. All right, man. But this morning I was like, hey, let me know after you watch it. Like I just finished it. So, but yeah, all in all, great episode. Check it out. What if episode number 3? Right? That's episode number 3.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. We're 3 weeks in because we had
write this down.
Peggy Carter. Then we had the T'Challa episode, and now the Avengers episode. So, but we'll be back next week. Until next time, guys. Deuces.